If you're gearing up for a major board exam, you definitely know that feeling. That little bit of dread when you hit a really tricky multiple-choice question. Well, in this explainer, we're going to give you a powerful toolkit to turn that anxiety into some serious confidence.
We've all been there, right? You're in the exam hall, you studied for weeks, you know this stuff, but you're just staring at a question where every single option looks plausible. It feels like a total mind game. The clock's ticking, and you can feel your confidence just start to dip. You know, that's got to be one of the most frustrating parts of any standardized test.
But what if you could change that? What if, instead of feeling trapped, you had a set of powerful strategies to just dismantle these questions with total confidence? That's exactly what we're going to cover. It's time to move from just guessing to having a real winning strategy.
All right, our first strategy is a true game changer. Seriously, it's designed to make you trust your own knowledge before you can get tricked by those cleverly written wrong answers. This is the cover and predict method.
The idea here is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You see, exam writers are experts at creating what they call distractors. These are answers that look right, but they're subtly wrong. By coming up with your own answer first, you anchor yourself to what you know is correct. It stops you from falling into that trap where a wrong answer starts to look right just because you've been staring at it for too long.
Here's how you do it in 3 easy steps. First, read the question, and only the question. Second, just pause for a few seconds and predict the answer in your own mind. Then, third, reveal the options and look for the one that matches your prediction. I'm telling you, when your answer is sitting right there waiting for you, it's an incredible boost to your confidence and your speed.
Okay, but what happens when the answer doesn't immediately jump out at you? For those questions, we've got our second strategy. It's time to put on your detective hat for the eliminate and isolate method. The big mindset shift here is this. Stop hunting for the right answer. Instead, I want you to hunt for what is clearly wrong. In pretty much every question, there are going to be options that are just absurd or totally irrelevant or factually incorrect. Your first job is to find those and cross them out. It just reduces the mental noise and makes the real answers so much easier to spot.
Let's put this into practice. Here's a typical board exam style question. Now, pay close attention to that key word, not. That is a classic setup where your only goal is to spot the one that doesn't belong.
So, applying our strategy, we're looking for what's wrong. Okay, A, B, and C, those are the core technical definitions of highest and best use. But option D, maximizes social benefit, I mean, it sounds nice, but it's not a required financial or legal part of the definition. It's the outlier. We can confidently eliminate it.
Now, think about it. Without a strategy, when you're facing 4 options you're not sure about, it's a blind guess, a 1 in 4, or 25% shot. Those are not the odds you want when your career is on the line.
But by eliminating just 2 obviously wrong answers, look what happens. Your odds instantly double to 50%. You've just turned a wild guess into a simple coin flip. That's the power of active elimination. You're not just guessing anymore, you're making a calculated decision. Our third strategy reveals a little secret that a lot of test takers miss. The people who write these exams often hide the answer in plain sight, right there in the question itself. And that's why we say, context is king. You've got to read the question like a lawyer reads a contract. I mean, really look for those specific words, modifiers, qualifiers, and technical terms. Words like best, least, always, or primarily. They are massive clues that can completely change the meaning of the question. For example, in a question like this one, the key phrases are cost approach, new residential construction, and most accurate. These words are like signposts. They're telling you to ignore any answers related to other approaches, like income or sales comparison. They're telling you to focus on new construction, not an older property. The context literally funnels you directly to the right answer.
All right, our final strategy. This one comes into play when you've done everything right. You've eliminated the wrong answers, you've analyzed the context, and now you're stuck between 2 really strong contenders. It's time to trust the educated gut. Now, let's be really clear about this. This is not random guessing. It's about trusting that huge library of knowledge you've built up over hundreds of hours of studying. Your subconscious is amazing at recognizing patterns and connections, even when your conscious mind can't quite put its finger on why. It's that subtle feeling that one answer just feels more correct than the other.
But here's the critical warning, and you got to hear this. This strategy is earned, not given. It only works if you've really put in the hours of hard prep. And if you have, you need to learn to trust that initial strong feeling. Overthinking is the enemy here. It's what leads you to talk yourself out of the right answer and into the wrong one.
And there you have it. That's your strategic advantage. These 4 strategies all work together as a complete system. They're not just a collection of random tricks, but a powerful method for deconstructing any multiple-choice question and giving you a real edge on exam day.
So, let's lock in your new toolkit for success. First, you cover and predict to avoid those distractors. Then, you eliminate and isolate to double your odds. Always remember that context is king. The clues are right there in the question. And finally, when you've done the work, you trust your educated gut.
When you combine these methods, you're not just a passive test taker anymore. You become an active, strategic thinker who can control the exam, instead of letting it control you. So think about it. Which one of these strategies are you going to practice first to completely transform your next exam?